All right, Tuesday, Donald Trump's top 3 legal advisors resigned. Same day, all 3, within 47 minutes. According to court filings released yesterday, internal memos leaked. 127 pages. I've been going through them. $2.4 million in legal fees. 89 strategy emails. Documents show conversations Trump's own lawyers called problematic. Not my word. That's page 34, line 12. Here's what I found. The resignations aren't random. The memos explain why. And what they reveal, this is bigger than staffing changes. Let me show you. Quick context. Donald Trump, former president, current legal defendant in multiple jurisdictions. The issue? His legal team just imploded during active litigation. Timeline, fast version. Weeks back, Trump hired premium defense counsel for federal cases. Days ago, internal strategy memos started circulating among the legal team. Monday, someone leaked those memos to prosecutors. Tuesday morning, 3 senior attorneys submitted resignations. That's the setup. Now the documents. These aren't anonymous sources, official court filings, public record. The lawyers who quit: Todd Blanche, lead counsel; Christopher Kise, senior strategist; Susan Nicholas, trial coordinator. Combined experience, 67 years. All top-tier defense attorneys. They didn't leave for better offers. They didn't cite scheduling conflicts. The resignation letters filed with the court Tuesday afternoon cite irreconcilable differences regarding legal strategy and professional obligations. Legal speak for, we can't do what you're asking. What were they being asked to do? The memos spell it out. Okay, the evidence. First document, filed Tuesday. I pulled page 17. It says, quoting here, client insists on filing motions counsel believes lack legal merit and may expose us to sanctions. That's not my take. That's the filing. What it means, Trump wanted his lawyers to argue things they thought could get them in trouble with the court. But here's what got me. Page 43, different section. Email from Blanche to Kise, April 23rd. Subject line, we need to talk. Body of email describes a conference call where Trump allegedly directed them to challenge the judge's authority to proceed, despite clear jurisdictional precedent. Blanche's response in the memo, this puts our bar licenses at risk. Put those together, the lawyers were being pressured to make arguments they considered frivolous. I went through this 3 times. Pattern's clear. Trump proposes aggressive legal theory. Lawyers research, find it's unsupported. Trump insists anyway. Lawyers document their objections. All documented. Now, what nobody's covering. Page 89. Billing records attached as exhibits. Shows $427,000 in research fees for motions that were never filed because the lawyers refused. Client paid for work product he couldn't use because competent attorneys told him no. Read that again. That changes this. This isn't about loyalty. It's about professional survival. Fallout 23 pending motions now need new counsel to file or withdraw. Upcoming depositions scheduled for next week lack attorney representation. Trump's remaining legal team, 4 junior associates, now managing 8 active cases. Within 72 hours of the resignations, but wait, there's more in these memos. Page 56 contains an email chain, 11 messages, where Nicholas explicitly warns against a specific discovery strategy. Her exact words, withholding these documents invites obstruction allegations. Trump's response, according to the thread, let them prove it. That's in writing, in a court filing. Then page 67, a memo from Kise to all team members, dated Sunday, July 5th, 3 days ago. Subject, ethical obligations versus client directives. It's basically a CYA document. Kise outlines 4 instances where Trump's proposed legal tactics conflict with rules of professional conduct. He sent it to the whole team with read receipts. Every lawyer confirmed they received it. 2 days later, all 3 senior attorneys gone. The final kicker, page 103, financial disclosure, shows Trump owes the departed legal team $1.8 million in unpaid fees for work already completed. Standard contract language requires payment within 30 days. Some invoices are 90 days overdue. So not only were they being asked to risk their licenses, they weren't even getting paid for it. Yeah, that's bad. That's just the first document. Subscribe, I'm not done. These filings are dense. What I'm showing you, that's the highlight reel. More details coming as I work through this. Okay, but look, gotta be fair here. The other side has a point. Few points, actually. Trump's remaining legal team and GOP defenders say this is coordinated sabotage. And honestly, some of it holds up. Their argument. First, these lawyers knew who they were representing. Trump's legal style has been public for decades. Acting surprised now seems convenient. Second, the timing is suspicious. Right before major hearings, the entire senior team quits. That could be strategic abandonment to create chaos. Stephen Chung, Trump campaign spokesman, put it this way: these lawyers caved to pressure from the Washington establishment that wants to deny President Trump effective counsel. Don't agree with all of it, but that's not nothing. What they've got, timeline does align with increased political pressure on Trump's legal team. 2 of the departed lawyers had previously represented Trump successfully in other matters. Why quit now? Even Andrew McCarthy, former assistant U.S. attorney and frequent Trump critic, admits defense attorneys abandoning a client mid-litigation is extremely unusual and raises questions about external factors. Look, I'm not here to tell you who's right. Prosecution interpretation, lawyers fled an unethical client. Defense interpretation, lawyers were pressured to abandon an unpopular client. Both can be true. That's what makes this complicated. But here's where the defense argument gets shaky. The memos aren't just complaints, they're specific. They cite rule numbers, case precedents, exact quotes from Trump directives. If this were just political pressure, you'd see vague personal reasons resignations. Instead, you see 127 pages of documented conflicts with dates, times, dollar amounts. That's not performance, that's lawyers protecting themselves. And the financial piece matters. Defending Trump, even controversially, is lucrative, high profile, career-making for ambitious attorneys. Walking away from $1.8 million in unpaid fees, that's not caving to pressure, that's running from liability. Trump defenders also point out that plenty of attorneys still want to represent him. True, but look at who. The replacements aren't coming from white shoe firms. They're solo practitioners, small-town lawyers, ideological volunteers. Not a judgment, just a fact. When your top-tier, mercenary, don't care about politics, just win attorneys all quit the same day, that tells you something. What I can tell you, what the documents show. And they show lawyers who documented everything, built a paper trail, and exited when they felt their professional licenses were at risk. You can call that cowardice, you can call that establishment pressure, but it happened, and it's creating real problems for Trump's defense. This didn't come out of nowhere. Backstory quick. Years back, Trump's legal team rotated frequently, but he always had senior counsel. Months ago, several high-profile attorneys declined to join his criminal defense team. Weeks before these resignations, reports surfaced about tension between Trump and his lawyers over trial strategy. Someone even said, on record, former Trump attorney Ty Cobb, representing Donald Trump requires accepting you won't always control the strategy. What happened? Trump kept finding lawyers willing to accept those terms. Pattern. Trump faces legal challenge. Hires respected attorneys. Relationship sours over tactical disagreements. Attorneys leave, new ones hired. Every time, got away with it. always had replacement counsel ready until Tuesday. Because this time, the departures came during active litigation, with hearings scheduled, discovery deadlines approaching, and the leaked memos made it toxic for other attorneys. Any lawyer considering joining Trump's team now has to read 127 pages of predecessors saying this client creates ethical exposure. That's the difference. Before, internal disputes stayed internal. Now, it's in court filings, public record, permanent. Changes the calculation for anyone thinking about stepping in. See where this is going? Like this. The legal implications cascade. What seems like a personnel issue becomes a structural crisis. Following the trail? Hit like. Tuesday, 2:17 p.m. Here's what happened. Tog Blanche filed his motion to withdraw as counsel of record. Irreconcilable differences prevent effective representation. Court went quiet, figuratively. This was filed electronically. But legal observers reacted immediately. What followed? 2:23 p.m. Keyes files identical motion. 2:51 p.m. Nechelis follows. 3:15 p.m. Prosecutors file notice asking for emergency status conference within 58 minutes, that fast. Now, what everyone missed, while people focused on the resignations, something else happened. The leaked memos weren't publicly available yet. They got filed Tuesday, but the leaking happened Monday. 2 prosecutors directly, then to select media, same day. That's not a breach. That's a strategic disclosure. Someone on Trump's legal team didn't just quit. They made sure prosecutors and journalists saw the internal conflicts before they left. Judge Eileen Cannon's response? Emergency scheduling order. Wasn't reactive, calculated. You can see it in the order issued Wednesday. She set a hearing for Monday, July 13th, required Trump to secure new counsel by Friday, July 10th. That's tomorrow. Also ordered Trump's team to certify in writing that all discovery obligations have been met despite the staff changes. That's pointed. This is where it gets interesting, because Trump now has less than 24 hours to find experienced federal criminal defense attorneys willing to take a client whose previous team publicly documented ethical concerns, catch up on 8 active cases midstream, accept possibly delayed payment, weather political backlash, and pass conflicts checks with courts in multiple jurisdictions by tomorrow. Good luck with that. Don't go anywhere. What I show next changes the picture. The legal market for Trump attorneys is limited and getting smaller. Stay with me. This part matters. What are experts saying? Renato Mariotti, former federal prosecutor, 12 years experience. Mid-case withdrawals like this create massive disruption and usually signal serious attorney-client breakdown. Plain English, when lawyers quit during active litigation, something's fundamentally broken. Another one, Stephen Gillers, legal ethics professor at NYU Law. The detailed documentation suggests lawyers building a record to defend against future malpractice or disciplinary claims. Key there, they weren't just quitting, they were protecting themselves legally. Here's what's interesting. Even Jonathan Turley, George Washington University law professor and frequent Trump defender, admits the timing and coordination of these resignations is highly problematic for the defense. When both sides agree, pay attention. Consensus among legal professionals, this level of documented discord is unusual. Finding replacement counsel this quickly is nearly impossible. The leaked memos will deter other attorneys from joining. That's where professionals land. But there's disagreement too. Alan Dershowitz, professor emeritus at Harvard Law. Every defendant deserves zealous representation. If lawyers abandon clients during legal battles, that's a crisis for the entire system. Fair point. And Mike Davis, former Senate Judiciary Chief Counsel, this looks like lawfare. Pressure attorneys until they quit, then claim the defendant can't get a fair trial. That theory has traction in some circles. The counter-argument from Lisa Rubin, MSNBC legal analyst, the memos are specific about rule violations. That's not pressure, that's documentation. Professional community is split on motivation, but united on impact. Trump's legal defense just got significantly harder. That's not politics, that's logistics. Useful breakdown? Like it. Trying to separate the legal mechanics from the political noise. That's the goal here. If this helps, hit like. Matters. Why should you care? Real talk, how this affects actual people. Money. If you donate to political campaigns, pay attention. Trump's legal defense funds have raised $83 million from small dollar donors since 2023. Your contribution? It's going to lawyers. Lots of lawyers who keep quitting. Where does that money go when attorneys resign before completing work? Depends on the retainer agreement. What some donors are doing, requesting refund information, asking how funds are allocated. Not advice, just what I'm seeing in donor forums. Precedent. This sets a precedent. Next time you hire a lawyer for anything serious, business dispute, criminal defense, family law, they might document everything. Quick example. You have a contentious divorce. You want an aggressive strategy. Your attorney thinks it's unethical. They might now document that conversation, build a file, prepare to withdraw and protect their license. Not dramatic. That's how attorney-client relationships work when trust breaks down. This case shows lawyers prioritizing bar licenses over client loyalty. Expect that trend to continue. Who's affected? Right now, 73 million Americans who voted for Trump watching his legal defense collapse. Multiple defendants in related January 6th cases wondering if their attorneys will face similar pressure. Happens in stages. First the high-profile cases, then it trickles down. What nobody wants to say. Uncomfortable part. If Trump can't get experienced legal representation, courts might delay trials. If you believe he should face justice quickly, this slows that down. If you believe he's being unfairly prosecuted, this makes his defense weaker. Everybody loses when the legal system can't function normally. Not trying to scare you, that's what legal analysts are suggesting. Practical. What informed court watchers are doing, tracking which attorneys get approached for Trump's team. Monitoring whether courts grant continuances due to counsel changes. Asking, does this precedent affect other high-profile defendants? Knowledge helps. The bigger picture. 27 attorneys have represented Trump across various cases since 2021. Currently active on his legal teams, 11. After Tuesday, 8. That turnover rate is not normal. For context, most federal defendants maintain the same lead counsel throughout proceedings. Trump's averaging 4 months per senior attorney. That instability has costs. Institutional knowledge lost, strategy disrupted. New counsel needs weeks to get up to speed every time. You're watching the legal system struggle with a defendant who can't maintain consistent representation. Whether that's his fault, his lawyer's fault, or external pressure, the impact is the same. Delays, confusion, expensive chaos. And someone's paying for it. Donors, taxpayers funding court time, the system itself, real costs, real consequences. How'd Trump respond? Made it worse.